experience surrounding your math background, and etc. Could you expand on your prior experience in budgeting that you mentioned during your platform?
So in high school, I joined a bunch of clubs, and I ended up with the role of treasurer most of the time, and had to fill out these reimbursement forms for every single club I was in, because I was one of the only people who knew how to fill out these forms. And doing so, and knowing how to do this, I also had to plan out like exactly how much we would spend during each event. And one of these events was like that I mentioned, like with a budget of upwards of $1,000. I got this grant that was like $800, and I had to plan a whole project with like how to use these $800, and I decided to cater the project toward making like homeless care packages, and I was able to make over like 200 care packages for the homeless, and was able to distribute that in like a couple months.
Thank you for that. So for your next question, we asked, you mentioned your interest in continuing and supporting Fusion's project incubator. If elected as treasurer, what exactly would you see your role being in overseeing this new program?
If I get the role of treasurer, what I want to do is mainly manage the funding side of it. But since I already have some experience I was planning a whole entire research project with like no prior experience, I would also like to give some advising on that, and also like advise you guys on like what is doable within the club funding, and how you guys could find other funding outside of Fusion as well to support your project. So yeah, that's what I do.
So for your next question, we ask, what is a critique you would give to this year's treasurer, and in what way would you improve upon it?
Okay, this is going to sound like a compliment, I know, but no, but Nico, you kind of made the job seem like too easy. Like honestly, I've been thinking about this question for the past couple of months, just because I was thinking about it on my own time, but I don't know like what exactly you could have done better considering like your position. Like you're managing both Fusion and CPC, and you seem to be doing like a really good job at balancing both. If I had to like add on to your role, I would say like to communicate with members more, I guess. Like make sure your face is like more well known in the club. And also, some people low-key didn't know that we got like a free shirt from having membership, so maybe somehow pump that out more. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
So for our next question, we ask, how do you plan on ensuring that every project in Fusion is allocated an equal, reasonable amount of funding that allows for creative endeavors?
I think that Fusion has been around for so long, and the projects have been around for such a long time that there's like past ledgers that allow us to see how much was spent toward Fusion in the past, which really help us decide how much is spent toward Fusion in the future. Now, I know that we are growing as a club, and I would like to make sure that the funding that we spend is equal to the amount of people that are within each project. But I do believe that by using previous ledgers, we can have a reasonable estimate of how much to fund these projects in the future.
Thank you for that. And so for our next question, we ask, how do you plan on reintroducing the Fusion Scholarship? If this comes to Fusion, how would you ensure that we have the funds to support this program as well as others we already have?
Now, for the Fusion Scholarship, it would be mainly funded, as I said in my speech, with alumni donations, which is something that we need to reintroduce in the club. So I would be working closely with RDEV and EVP on that, so reaching out to all the alumni and asking them, hey, could you guys pitch in a bit? But we would start off small, maybe not have the biggest scholarship, maybe $100 if that's feasible, and then we can build it from there. But I think establishing the groundwork for the future is the first step.
So for your next question, we ask, with all of your ambitious plans, how will you handle conflict or disagreements if others do not agree with something?
I do believe, or one of my strongest personal moral pillars is that communication is very important. So when these conflicts will eventually arise, because as they typically do, I do really want to talk it out with the other people who disagree and come to some sort of agreement with each other on what we should do next. If I want to keep myself as open-minded as possible, so I really do want to listen to everyone else's opinions, and we can work it out from there. I truly believe that if we communicate, together for long enough, we can reach a conclusion.
So for your next question, we ask, given the budget constraints that many cultural clubs face, how would you prioritize spending to ensure the club's events and initiatives reflect the needs of the Philam community?
I believe that's a great question. I feel like being a cultural club, it's one of our pillars. It is culture that makes up us as a club. And I do believe that I think representation in spaces such as spaces where we can make our own personal engineering projects and show them to the world and show them what we got as Filipino engineers is something that shows our culture in a way. I think that coming out our club and sharing our culture through these meetings and everything is a way that we share our Filipino Americanness. And we've been able to show this in the ways that we have garnered people who are not Filipino wanting to learn about our culture. You guys are learning about things like kuyas and ates, and I think that's really amazing. And I think that this club existing and all of us being here today shows our culture already.
Thank you for that. So for your next question, we ask, do you think being an intern has prepared you for this higher role in Fusion? Being an exec involves a higher level of leadership. What do you want to contribute as an executive member of board?
On top of all of these new ideas that I've been introducing and such, I do really want to be able to support the rest of the board. I want to be able to be someone reliable, someone who can be there for not only board members, but also you guys. I want to be a familiar face that you guys you can see me and you're willing to walk up to me because you know me and you want to talk to me. That's the kind of person that I want to be as I'm exec for. Speaking about my intern experience, I do believe that it's properly prepared me for this role, and it's really helped me reflect on all of my previous experiences in high school with budgeting and how I can apply this to the club, which helped me come up with these ideas. But also extra credit to Noah Thizon to help me apply ideas.
Thank you so much for that. And so for this next question, we ask, and please think hard, what is your favorite song to play on guitar?
Let You Break My Heart Again by Leve for sure.
That was great, that was great.
I did think hard, I thought really hard, trust.